Hi guys, I am going to go through Investigation 4, Part 1 with you. We're actually going to do Step 1 about the phenolphthalein as a demo, and I'm going to do that for you right now, so you'll be able to record this data before you even come to class. I'm just a little bit concerned with time next class, and so I figure if we can take care of this on the video, then that's one less thing you're going to have to do in class and possibly run short, especially because I think we're going to have class meetings in this class period as well. So I'm reading out of the lab manual, and you'll be able to have all of your pre-lab stuff done, so you'll be able to read out of your lab notebook. But it says place some phenolphthalein in 2 tubes. That's what I've got going on here. Add 0.1 molar HCl to 1 tube, swirl to mix and observe. Using the same procedure, add 0.1 molar NaOH to the other tube. Repeat the procedure and observe your, or make your observations. So I have my phenolphthalein in each tube. This one got a little bit cloudy when I put the phenolphthalein in there, probably because there was something in that tube before I put it in there. That's okay. It's not that big of a deal. I have my 0.1 molar NaOH that I'm going to put into one of the tubes. But instead of using 0.1 molar hydrochloric acid, we're actually going to use distilled white vinegar. And it's because the reason we're going to use this instead is because you're going to use this for the second step with your cells here shortly. So we're going to be consistent with our items, I guess you can call. It says on here 0.5 or 5% acidity. So if you didn't know, vinegar is actually acetic acid, and it's a nice dilute, weak acid that we can use in class in place of other acids that are maybe a little bit more dangerous. I like to use household products whenever I can. So I'm going to start by putting a little bit of my base in one test tube, and we get bright pink. Perfect. And I'm going to put some of my vinegar. I put some of my vinegar in a cup before I started videoing, and we get nothing. This is perfect. This is exactly what we expect. Phenolphthalein is an acid-base indicator. I'm sure you remember that from chemistry. And what happens is when we mix it with a base, we get a very bright pink color. When we mix it with an acid, we get no color change at all. It remains clear. And that's exactly what you're seeing here. And that matters for part 2. So now we know what's our acid and what's our base, and what the color change indicates. So then when you get to step 2, it says, use a dull knife or a thin strip of hard plastic to cut 3 blocks of agar of different sizes. Well, your strip of plastic is this. This is a piece of a plastic dinner plate that I cut into something with sharp edges. And I'm going to give you a piece of agar. Agar is like gelatin, like Jell-O, only not sweet and delicious. But I made it pink, okay? And the way I made it pink was by adding phenolphthalein and a weak base before it solidified, so when I was making it out of the liquid, and now it's bright pink. And so what you're going to do is cut 3 cells out of the chunk I give you, and I'm not going to give you a giant chunk, but this is plenty. And I want you to just use your red knife-ish thing to cut 3 cells as cube as possible. If they're not perfect cubes, that's okay, because you'll measure length, width, and height for each cube, but you want 1 large cell, 1 medium cell, and 1 small cell in order for you to calculate your rate of diffusion. And this cuts beautifully, just like this. And so cut, like I said, as cubed as possible. Okay, you want even edges, and then you're going to cut a medium-sized cell, and then you're also going to cut a small cell. And so when you do this, I'm cutting large, medium, and small, getting rid of my excess. And then in order to make them cubes, you just use your knife again from the other direction, okay, making them as cube-like as possible. So here, there's something that's, it's not a perfect cube. It's more rectangular than anything else, but that's what you're shooting for. That's a good small size. And then you have medium size, slightly larger, and then largest, of course, you're going to leave it as it is, as big as you can. You will have recorded your sizes in your data table. If you have an edge, mine's off of the edge, you can see that it's kind of, I don't know, a lighter pink. If you want to cut that off when you're making your cubes, that'll work out as well. So you just chop that off, And then we're ready to measure the rate of diffusion into your cells. And the way we're going to do that is by tracking the color change of your pink Jell-O cells. So you'll get the white cup works the best, and you're putting vinegar in here. So you're going to smell like pickles all day, and that's okay. And then what you do is you put your pink cells, all 3 of them, in your cup at the same time. And what you're going to do is that there's your cells, in 1-minute increments, you're going to pull them back out of the vinegar, and you're going to measure with your ruler the color change. So I'm going to put them in here, and I'm going to pause the video, and I'm going to come back in a couple of minutes, and I'm going to show you the color change that we're seeing and then how you're going to measure that.